Next Monday is a new moon. My sister says I'll give birth then.
Aren't you afraid to bring your daughter into a place like this?
Sir, we're putting a human life in danger.
The unit is in perfect condition. What is this?
I've never seen this before. This is an altered unit without an owner.
Unit without the second protocol. Find someone else to hold accountable for this mess.
I'm tracking down some alterations performed on 2 units.
A machine altering itself is a very complex concept. Self-repairing implies some idea of a conscience.
Please, sir. Please, sir.
And by the way, that was the preview for Automata, which I guess just dropped the other day. I recommend watching the whole thing. It's funny to watch in the chat where some people are into it and other people not so much. I'm in love with it because I think this is our real world in another 10, 20 years. Like we're getting full on robots taking over things.
Well, Brian, maybe we should bring in our guests, Jeff Cannata and Anthony Carboni, to weigh in on this, because obviously the 3 laws of robotics are merely fictional and would not work well in a real-life situation.
Are you
guys talking about Melanie Griffith's face? Is that what you're talking
we
about?
have Concerns co-hosts, Jeff Cannata and Anthony Carboni.
Topical and genial, Jeff. Way to start off.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. First of all, let's get the big news right up on Front Street. We originally just had one of you booked, but then we realized, hey, you guys both just launched a Patreon this week. You want to tell people about it?
Yeah, we have 2 separate Patreons, and we're fighting to the death over who will have the better Patreon.
Yeah. So if you don't want us to die... It was actually
really weird and awkward that you brought us both on at once.
Fight.
No, we just started a podcast about a month ago called We Have Concerns, and we started a Patreon for it about a week ago because you guys are such inspirational crowdfunding
blazing the trail for
idols.
us. Blazing that trail.
Mm-hmm.
You are our
that trail down,
Antonio Banderas, and we are your robot army.
So if somebody were to want to support one or both of you, where would they go?
Patreon.com/WeHaveConcerns. Also, just listen to the show. Check out the show. It's a funny comedy show that comes out 3 times a week. It's only 20 to 25 minutes of your time, and we think it's fun, funny, and it'll make you think.
Dude, you're on your way. 325 patrons. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I have a dream of 1,000 patrons.
And I'm already in love with the fact that you have White Penguins Can't Jump as the title of an episode. So there we go.
Jeff titles all the episodes, and he has so much fun doing it.
It is my favorite part of the show.
I do sort of wish now that you had done 2 separate Patreons, both funding the show, but like battling each other.
And whoever's raised more gets to make all of the decisions, and the other one just has to listen.
That would have been the smart marketing way of doing it.
We're going to scrap our Patreon and look out for 2 new Patreons next week, because I think that's the way to go.
Oh, you could just have 3. Like, you know, for people who don't like fighting, there's
the pacifist Patreon.
Yeah.
Pay money to stop the fighting.
Make it all stop.
All right, we're going to make that stop. We're going to hit our primary target now.
Yeah, that's right. Hit that primary target.
We're going to hit you. So this is interesting. Recode had a story about Barclays analyst Kanan Venkateshwar. Apologies for the pronunciation if it's off, which I'm almost certain it is. Looking into whether HBO really could make more money if they sold you a subscription to their video service without needing a cable package. The argument has been they get so much benefit out of the marketing that cable companies do for them for free that it would be silly for them to not play along with the cable companies or do anything that would upset them. He says he proposes 2 ways that HBO could do with this. One is there's a service that windows all of its new programming. So you would pay something like $11 a month, but you wouldn't get any of the new shows until they'd been out for 6 months. The idea being, we're not going to cannibalize the existing service on cable. If you want everything right away, you would have to do that. But for people who are going to cut the cord anyway, here's a way in the door. And then the other one was, we'll do a really expensive version, like $18 a month for people above and beyond. That way, it does the same sort of thing, which is we're going to try not to cut into the people who already have cable by just charging people out the UYA, but you actually do get all of the stuff right away. He figured it could generate up to $600 million in new earnings.
I mean, which the mere fact that they're not doing this suggests to me that maybe they're doing more than $600 million in earnings.
They did $1.7 billion in earnings for Time Warner,
right? Okay,
which HBO is just a part of.
Like I don't even understand. I understand as a thought experiment, this is a fun thing to do, to play around what might be possible or whatever. But there's a reason that HBO is allowing massive piracy to happen. There's a reason HBO is with a wink and a nod saying, "Go ahead, share your HBO Go passwords. We really don't care." They are making so much money now that it would be insane for them to try any of this. Rocking the boat would be the worst decision they could possibly make.
Kanata?
I think you're probably right. Although I think this Venkateshwar guy...
We just call him Cannon.
Hey, maybe nobody thought of this yet. Maybe I'm the first guy to think of this. I'm thinking about it not as a giant corporation perspective. I'm thinking of it as a personal human being who wants to enjoy this content's perspective. And I would say neither of these is particularly appealing. I don't like the Windows approach. I know Anthony would object just because he hates Windows. I think we'd get blue screens of death, wouldn't we all, just from Windows? No. No, but I don't like the idea of I have to wait a year to see this content if I'm not a subscriber. I don't think that's what HBO viewers want. I want to see it right now. And
$10 a month to be late is like not attractive to anybody. That's not a good look.
And then the second idea is $18 for one channel. $18 a month for one channel, which I don't think is particularly appealing either, because if we start cutting up that pie, I think there's a potential of A, just fewer networks survive because people are going to subscribe to fewer networks, and B, the premium networks cost a whole heck of a lot of money, and then you end up paying actually more than you would with your cable subscription because you want to accumulate enough networks that you want to watch. So I don't know if that's good either.
I just don't see. I think every single content creator out there wants to leave the cable companies, and I think if there was any potential way for them to do it that made sense, they would just go ahead and do it. I just don't think the money works for anybody right now.
I think that there's a way that you and Brian are right, and Cannon is also right from Barclays, where he's like doing a very like on the back of an envelope, like, yeah, well, yes, this many people and it would make this much money, and his figures are totally right. But I think he may be underestimating the backlash from the cable companies. And I think that's what HBO is figuring in that we're not seeing here, which is HBO going, sure, we could make $600 million, but I think what you're underestimating, Mr. Person from Barclays, is how much money we would lose in marketing as the cable companies just hold a hard line and say, you do anything even close to this, and you're paying for every advertisement for HBO from here on out.
Yeah, and I don't even know, like, I guess $18 a month just to get digital HBO, I don't even think is that unreasonable. I think that's fairly close to what we're already paying. I mean, if you have Prime and Netflix, you're already paying that. So imagine if you could, for again that amount, have complete access to whatever HBO's in their windowed library, their complete back catalog of HBO originals. I mean, I'd jump in with that.
Well, think about the people paying $40 a month, and I don't know how many there are, but the people paying $40 a month for over-the-air plus HBO. Like, this is a better deal because you can get over the air for free, and then you only pay $18 for HBO.
Yeah.
Well, as we all know, 1948 was the year that the Italian Republican Constitution went into effect, Brian Brushwood.
Now, hold on. Did you just say 1948?
Yeah, I did.
Man, that's really weird because that's really close to 2000, which is our goal. Wait, hold on. 1948?
Yeah,
is
1948,
the exact
right.
number of bosses we have.
Well, that would explain why that's the year that the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade went into effect.
It sure is. And as a matter of fact, that means 1,948 people went to patreon.com/Cordkillers, signed up, and became our actual bosses, where they get to send us emails. They get to tell us what to do. It's really fun. You should be a boss as well. Head on over to patreon.com/Cordkillers. Thank you to everyone who keeps Cordkillers living and thriving as an independent podcast.
We are here because of you, boss. So pat yourself on the back, unless you're not.
Dave82 in the chat says, "Did we lose Patreon subscribers?" No, this is an all-time high. This is we've only gone up. We've never crossed that 2,000 bosses. So if you're on the fence and if you have a nickel per episode you want to throw our way,
or let's say you happen to be 52 people.
Yeah. Or if you have 52 different accounts on Patreon.com.
I'm just saying.
We're not going to look too closely. We're just excited to have a whole bunch of people.
Let's move on to signals intelligence. Because this is the part of the show where we talk about the streaming services that bring you the signals. It's kind of a metaphor. It is a metaphor. And Comcast is launching something interesting on university campuses. This fall, they will bring Bridgewater College, Drexel University, Emerson. Veronica Belmont is an alumnus of Emerson. LaSalle College and the University of Delaware, an internet-only subscription service. Now, this is included with your room and board, and it can only be used on campus, but you'll be able to log in on mobile devices and your laptop. You'd have to hook those up somehow to a television to be able to watch it on TV. It's not going to come into the rooms. But instead of free cable to everybody in the dorms, if you're staying on campus and you're paying room and board, you'll get this service. Now, it also means, because ESPN and HBO are part of this, that you would be able to log into HBO Go and watch ESPN and get those apps on certain devices.
I mean, this is that fig leaf service that I've wanted for so long. This virtual cable service that basically just gets you in the clubhouse so you can run around and use all the apps.
I'm saying we just go 21 Jump Street on this and roll.
I'm saying, you know what? I'm saying, welcome to Cordkillers University. If you want to enroll, we'll work out a deal with HBO and bring you what you want when you want.
This is cool. This makes so much sense, because I don't know a single college-aged kid that isn't, you're sitting in a tiny room and all you have is a laptop anyway. It just makes perfect sense.
How many college-aged kids do you know?
I know a lot of college-aged kids, and I don't want to go into it.
Super creepy.
He's the cool uncle, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the cool one. I forgot.
I really don't want to talk about how many junior high age kids I know. That's the one that's like real confidential.
I hope that this also transfers into senior centers so that I can be a knowledgeable expert on it.
Only 3 years away.
Now, but here's the deal, right? I wanted to look at this and go, oh, this is testing the waters, and eventually they'll, if it works here and they get it work, they work out all the kinks, they'll bring it to us. But Comcast is sending all the wrong signals for that. They're saying, we're doing this because when people leave college, we want them to want to sign up for regular Comcast when they move into their own apartment.
I mean, do you think that's going to happen, though? Do you think this will bite them in the ass? Do you think that they'll... I'm sorry, what was that, guys?
I said false. It's going to get them used to this magical service, and then they're going to be really, really mad at how terrible cable is.
Yes.
And when they move out in the apartment, and mom and dad say, like, we're only paying for the dorms. Now that you're living on your own, you got to pay for yourself. They're not going to want to spend money on some expensive service that is limited in the way that a regular subscription.
This is the whole reason that they were including cable to begin with, right? Was to get people hooked. This isn't a charity service, and obviously they're being paid to do it. In this case, it just makes sense that they would acknowledge that our purpose is to train people to buy our service the moment they become young adults, and we're not reaching them right now because nobody's watching television in the old style ways. So instead, they're reaching them where they're getting them. And again, HBO is very aware that everybody's pirating this stuff right now. But they're also very aware that they're like, oh, wait, not only, that's great that they're watching Game of Thrones, not so great that they're trained to think that this is an okay way to watch Game of Thrones. And so this makes, again, fig leaves. It's all fig leaves.
Series of fig leaves. You have a fig leaf. He's got a fig leaf. It's all fig leaves.
Look under your chairs, folks. I do think that by the time this starts to have an effect, that the people implementing it now might want to turn into Comcast subscriptions in the regular sense, that Comcast is going to have changed, no matter what happens, into some kind of situation where they might already have this available for the rest of us somehow. In which case, that could make it easy, like, hey, you're graduating, but just pick up the tab and you can keep your subscription wherever you are.
And keep in mind, even if these are not for charitable reasons that they're doing this, right? This is this is all self-interested. However, at the very least, it's a different world when, say, 4 years from now, they've been doing this at most colleges and universities, and when those people all graduate, they're like, well, it's less of a big leap to offer this service. Because, and maybe this is the camel's nose under the tent, right? That just kind of gets it started. Maybe this is them testing the waters with how to get away with it without pissing off Time Warner and Comcast or I guess is it Comcast doing it or HBO? Camelcast. Right.
Is that a real thing?
My point is that it's a
Comcast.
better world where this is happening somewhere legally than not. That's all I'm saying.
You know what it is? I think we've all been aware that for years and years, camels are attracted to figs. Yeah. And so they're just going under the tent looking for the fig leaves. It's the way the metaphors bounce off
there
one
are
another.
so many metaphors going on here that I don't even buy are actual metaphors. I think they're just things that came out of Brian's mouth. The camel's nose under the tent. Where did you pick that up?
The tent is where we keep all the fig leaves, see? And
right.
then the camel wants to get under there.
I'm just saying, who made that up to begin with?
You know the camel. In fact, it was in an American history class where it was like the question about the taxation. There's a literal test question was it the camel's back or the nose? Camel's nose, basically. And he had to explain the two different metaphors. The one additional straw that broke the camel's back, or is it cutting out? Like the camel's nose kind of peeks under the pit tent. Where
Benjamin Franklin in Poor Richard's Almanac once said.
And then
this is the camel's
before
nose.
You know it, you have a camel in your tent. Can we just move on to the next story? Can we do that?
Yeah, before I make a joke about gymnastics, let's move on to Gear Up. Gear Up is the section of the show where we talk about devices. These are the hardware upon which you will attempt to watch what you want, when you want, where you want. And this would be the device you please. And Roku is bringing their first line of integrated televisions to market. It's actually the opposite. TCL and Hisense, two Chinese companies, are bringing televisions to market with Roku integrated in them. But there's a lot of talk about these could be the smart TVs people actually buy because they're smart TVs rather than buying a TV and ignoring the fact that it's a smart TV, because Roku's got a great interface and they've got thousands of channels and it could actually be useful. TCLs will be on pre-order at Amazon and in retail in the next few weeks. Hisense will hit stores late September, and they're bargain brands. If you're like, I've never heard of these before, that's probably why. 32-inch TCL set's going to run you $229, or you can get a 55-inch for $649. And remember, MPD still estimates 2/3 of TVs in North America are not smart TVs, the ones that are sold. So the smart TV brigade really would like a shot in the arm. They'd really like to be able to sell these. And it brings us back to our old frame rate argument of, do you want it integrated or do you want a separate set-top box?
Well, you already know my position on this. I want my monitors as dumb as they could possibly be. I just want them to be pretty and look good and have lots of holes to attach things to.
Same.
What about you, Anthony, or you, Jeff? Like, what do you guys feel like? Do you get excited? Do you think there's a potential for smart TVs? If every TV came with built-in Roku, would you be happy, or do you feel like I do, like that's still going to be underpowered stupidity?
Take it, Anthony.
I gotta say, I have a smart TV. I've got a Toshiba smart TV, and the smart TV features are things that you play with like the first day when you pull it out of the box and you're messing with the remote, and you're like, oh, neat, I guess my TV can do this. I guess my TV has Yahoo widgets or whatever. Cool, like that's amazing or whatever. And then you turn it off and you never use it again. I think the bundling of Roku makes a lot of sense because, as far as I'm concerned, Roku right now really is the best set-top box for the highest number of people. It's really simple to use. All the content you want is there. The interface is really easy. And I think if you're somebody who's buying a lower-end TV and somebody tells you, oh, well, when you get a new TV and you get an HD TV, you want to get a Roku as well, to hear that that's bundled in, I think that's awesome. I think it's the first time a smart TV really makes sense to me.
Jeff, what about you?
Yeah, I can dig that too. I mean, I feel like I'm a person that's never going to be wanting for devices that will do those functions. I will always have things plugged into my television that do all that stuff and probably do it all better and get updates quicker. But if it's tied into the Roku universe, and Roku is on the cutting edge of making those apps quick, easy, and accessible, and updating them often, and these TVs are you're not having to worry about your TV manufacturer's update. You can get the Roku update. That would be great. And takes one step away from me having to turn on my PS4 to watch Netflix, for example. If I can just hop on my television and watch Netflix, and it's easy and it's as crisp and clean as Roku is, then yeah, I'm all for it. I also like the fact that this seems like it's aimed at a very low price point demographic. So you can really buy your Netflix box in one box. And you throw that into a dorm room, for example, and now you're able to just turn on your television, hop over to Netflix, and not have to worry about extraneous boxes plugged into your TV. It's mobile, it's easy. As long as you have an internet connection, you can do it. So that's cool.
I think, this is really about dragging the people who are a little scared of this or feel like they don't understand this. This is about kind of dragging them a few years into the future from where they are now to have them catch up so we can all begin moving forward again, You're saying they're on one side of the camel's hump, and we're trying to get them over it. What I'm saying is, in the metaphor of the fig farm, they're kind of like they have crop shares in the fig farm, but the crop master of the fig farm, who is part camel.
Let's hear from somebody who knows.
I'll tell you about fig farms and camels.
Yeah, you better. 'Cause I don't get what you're saying.
First of all, this kind of short circuits. Like, my default argument is always like, quit building stuff into televisions. Televisions have a 7-year life cycle. Devices have a 3-year life cycle. By trying to staple one to the other, you're just making trouble. But Roku has somehow cracked that pop culture fig camel.
Yeah.
So well put.
I'm with you.
So my in-laws have a Roku box, and I never would have believed that, and it's like, it's made it into that Best Buy audience, right? And if anyone's going to do that and make it work for television and sort of redefine what it means to get a standard TV and just, you just expect that a Roku or Roku-like experience comes with it, I think it's great. I think it's a smart move.
I think these are going to be the TV VCR combo of the future.
Oh, yeah.
Where they work great for some people who are like, yeah, I just want a TV that does this stuff. And the killer part of it is, if you look at the screenshot, Roku has done something really smart, which is they put Cable Box as an app on the interface.
Yes.
So you're just like Hulu, Netflix, Vudu, Cable Box. It's just one of the things you can choose to watch, which is very elegant. But a lot of people are like, I want to be able to upgrade it more frequently. I want to have a little more control. If the VCR breaks, I don't want to have to, have this television tied to a dead VCR. And I have an original Roku. It can't get the most recent software update. It still actually works. I think it's from 2008. But I would not be happy if that was if I was stuck with that inside my television right now.
Yeah, but this is for people who aren't going to know any better about being stuck.
Exactly.
Like you said,
it's
the TV VCR thing. I sent my mother a Roku 3 years ago, and she, no matter how many times I explained to her red, white, yellow, just into red, white, yellow in the back of the TV, that Roku's still in a box. And it always will be. And that's
to be fair, can your mother see color?
She's
my mother is part camel.
She's more, she has more a very camel than man now.
View of the light spectrum. She sees from yellow to purple light, like most dromedaries.
All right.
That's why she only eats figs.
I think you're right. I think the TV VCR was good for the people who are like, I don't want to have to plug in a VCR, and this is good for the exact same reason. So I'm with you there. And at $229 for a 32-inch. Yeah, exactly.
My HDMI ports are precious.
Yeah.
I need all the buggers I can get. So fewer things plugged into my HDMI ports, the better.
Yeah. When we first moved, I was like, we're just going to use I'm not going to pull out the HDMI extender, the splitter. I'm not. And of course, I eventually
all of them.
Yeah. It was this beautiful time, though, where all I had plugged in was a TV box, Roku, and an Apple TV. And it was a dream.
I love the fact that your vision of bliss
simplicity
is 3 devices.
Yeah,
plugged
and
in.
2 of them do
amazing.
the exact same thing.
All right.
It was so simple then.
I want to mention our sister show. Yeah. I just made that up. Sword and Laser.
It is our sister show.
I guess it is. Well, Veronica's our sister.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she's we all grew up in a family
from another mister
out on the Kansas plains, yes. And some of us went to the big cities. Others of us do Cordkillers. But Sword and Laser.
Yeah, Sword and Laser just launched a store. I got tired of hearing Brian flog scam stuff every week, right? Because it's so awesome, and I'm jealous. And so Veronica, who's even more jealous than me, said, we're going to do a store and we're going to have a flask. So if you want a Sword and Laser flask or the Sword and Laser anthology ebook, or if you want posters and t-shirts, check it out, swordandlaser.bigcartel.com, or you can go to swordandlaser.com.
By the way,
get the link.
now, as you know, I was touting the Rogue's flask for scam stuff a while ago, and now you guys are doing a flask. I want to see a decks of cards from you guys. I want to see magic
dragon
tricks.
Cards.
Yeah. I want to see.
It's
it's
all just scam stuff, but with like Tom's head pasted over Brian's.
Shh, that's our business plan.
I'm okay with this.
You just start scraping at it. You're like, wait a minute. There's a little bit of this coming off.
Why does it say scam stuff under here?
The site looks super slick. That's swordandlaser.bigcartel.com. Man, I'm glad you're doing that, man.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, no, you are. In all kidding aside, you've been an inspiration in that, and I know people have been asking us to do this sort of stuff. So who knows? Maybe there'll be a Cordkillers store.
I just realized you have a 3 Dragon Moon poster.
We do.
This is amazing.
Yes. 3 Lem the dragons, and then of course the moon. All right, let's see what's under surveillance.
It's all about location.
Where we talk about things you can watch, things coming out, whether they're in theaters or on televisions or downloadable. This week we're talking about BitTorrent's science fiction series. That may confuse a lot of you who equate BitTorrent with stealing things, but this is not stealing anything. BitTorrent, Con TV, and Rapid Eye Studios have been teaming up on a series called Children of the Machine. They've been creating a pilot episode. The first extended clip came out this past week. And once they get the pilot out there, that will be freely available for everyone. It'll be a 60-minute pilot. And if they get enough subscriptions based on that pilot, they'll continue to make the show. They want people to sign up for a flat rate of $10 for the series.
Man, it's so weird. Like, you saying BitTorrent has a series is the same as if you said, like, Shell Gasoline now has a series. It's like I don't understand.
Well, it would be like the highway department came out with a car.
Yeah, exactly. Or I don't know. It's like a camel was wearing a fig leaf. Is what it's like.
Thank you for breaking it down.
It's a curious content development.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is weird. That is weird. Now that you put it that way.
That show should be made one shot at a time by one person in one location and another person in another location, and then assembled by some piece of software somewhere.
Well, and the reasoning makes sense to me, which is BitTorrent has created a live streaming platform and a content delivery platform, and I think what they're trying to show here is, hey, we've got this content delivery platform that can deliver things in real time, can deliver things on a schedule, you podcasters. So we're going to put a little money together and get somebody to use our platform as a way of getting other people to use the platform. I don't think BitTorrent really wants to get into the business of producing stuff. It's sort of a proof of concept. Kind of like Microsoft making a tablet.
We've seen them pushing forward specific music albums and things like that. Like, they've been really trying to sort of legitimize the technology. Like, they push BitTorrent for Business now as a replacement for things like Dropbox and Amazon S3. And you can really see them trying to be like, no, listen, we have to stay a business. We have to stay a thing. Please don't think of us as the place you go to steal all the things. And it's like, I'm going to steal this show from your platform. I like the look of your show, and I'm going to take it from you for free.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, before we move on, I forgot to mention when we were talking about Roku earlier, it should be mentioned for the folks who go to diamondclub.reddit.com, which is where a lot of our community hang out. Somebody put together a Night Attack Roku app that is now a Diamond Club TV
even
Roku
better
app. Yeah, so all of that available. Check it out. There's a link to that at diamondclub.reddit.com.
I thought you were going to say that you had scam stuff branded Rokus.
Just now created while off camera. Real quickly, I mean, I think Children of the Machine as a BitTorrent business plan is interesting. Did you guys watch the clip?
I did not, but
so that's not working.
Yeah.
You know, we were all trying to search around for the proper metaphor for this, but I think I figured it out. It's as if Fast Eddie started actually making his own jewelry.
Yeah,
You know
Fast
what I mean?
Eddie's
It's like
it's
instead
trying
of
to go
Fast Eddie a
legit,
camel?
right? Fast Eddie's like, look, a lot of people use my name.
yeah.
That's not
I'm
me. I'm a
still-
legitimate businessman.
I'm still selling it inside my overcoat here, but now
No,
that
but
these are-
BitTorrent
I-
has never broken the law themselves. They're like, we made a protocol that a lot of people use for Linux ISOs, but we don't want to be associated with
Well,
that.
but keep in mind also, there was a time when this same thing happened to MP3s. I remember talking to musicians who were like, well, I don't know what MP3s are, but I know that somehow they're stealing from us. Like, and so they were demonizing a codec, which was ridiculous. It's like, yeah. So there.
Say something
Napster
about
had just
figs.
written some music and released a few tracks, so it would have all been fine.
All right. Well, Children of the Machine, if anybody is interested, is going to be about kids who want to get implants and go jolting in this like environmental post-apocalyptic landscape. It kind of, as they say on the IO9 article, looks like an American Apparel ad, which I agree with. But it can be
Which
interesting.
is an
I'm
unfair
ready for a
shot. I mean, I don't
sci-fi
know. It's
thing
like
that looks like
what's funny is
American
you
Apparel.
asked why we didn't, or if we've watched the clip. The reason I didn't was because of this snarky headline. And I
wow.
was like, well,
All right.
if your goal was to make me not even give it a chance, congratulations.
Well
anonymous
done,
writer.
IO9.
Yeah, way to go.
You've taken Brian Brushwood out of the pool. I thought it was an actually accurate description because it really does look like that. But it sounds like an interesting premise, so I'm willing to give the full pilot a chance. Frontlines! Interest to you. So if you guys, Jeff and Anthony, if you want to extend a conversation at any time, let us know. I'll start off with Channel Master introducing a leaf-like antenna they call the flat antenna because it's flat, just like the leaf. But the price is really the differentiating factor here. It sells for $10 with free shipping, at least right now.
I think they missed the chance to call it the fig. I'm sorry.
A fig antenna.
So many, you know, how many camels would be interested in that? So many.
Well, it's flat.
Quick poll. I know that you have a leaf antenna. Do
Yes.
either Anthony or Jeff, do you guys have an antenna for any over the air stuff?
antenna would ever work for me in the middle of San Francisco, so I just stopped trying. I haven't tried one since I moved to LA.
It was a revelation when I hooked up my Leaf, which pulled in some channels in the Bay Area. And then when I moved here, pulled in all the channels. It was incredible.
Yeah, in Austin, I'm able to get all the channels except for Fox's kind of off and on. But it's so weird to me what they take with the standard def channels, like the crap they put on there. Like they're just running some second other channel.
Three's Company.
Yeah. Hey man, Simple TV owners can set up guest passes to stream shows on web, mobile, and Roku. Guests can't watch live TV or schedule recordings. Only access previously recorded shows. Up to 5 users can access a Simple.tv once without a performance hit. They say, I'm sorry.
It's a great marketing thing for Simple TV if they can get people to do it. I'm not sure how many people are in the market like, hey, Brian, can I access your Simple TV to watch that episode of Three's Company on the alternate HD channel you recorded?
To be honest, that's why I self-destructed halfway through reading it. I was like, who's under the impression that 5 people want to use a Simple TV at once? Have you guys played with those, either of you?
Absolutely not. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's an over-the-air DVR, which I actually own and don't use because it doesn't flip around live TV fast enough. I find the TiVo better.
Yeah.
I have an original Simple TV. It's not a fair argument, but would you if you had this, would you want to share it? Maybe in the house. I'm going to use an extension. I've recorded some kids shows, and the kids can watch them on their tablets inside the house whenever they want.
Yes. The answer is yes, because we do. We've got we're already starting to bump up against the 2 simultaneous stream limit of Netflix. Like now, I mean, we only have our 2-year-old. To be honest, I guess she's in the mix now. You know, our 2-year-old kid is grabbing an iPad and knows to press the Netflix button. And so I'm about to have to upgrade on that. So if Simple TV was a more popular platform, I absolutely, I think this is a smart move. I'm amazed that somehow 5's the magic number, because that's what you get with iTunes as well, right? Up to 5 devices.
Well, they're saying 5 without a performance hit. You can do as many as you want, but they're saying at a certain point, the device itself just can't serve that many streams.
I'm just going to say real quick before this ends, the only thing that I could see this coming in really handy for me for is for not waiting for the huge long delay between broadcast stuff that I want to watch because some of my friends have cable.
Yeah.
You know, like I have to wait an entire day for Last Week Tonight to show up on HBO Go and watch it from the HBO Go that I'm stealing from a friend. Now
Right.
I can steal from a friend much faster if they have cable. I think that's great.
Well done.
Well, Simple TV only works with over the air, so not going to
No?
happen
All
with
right, never
HBO.
mind then.
But for CSI, it's going to be great. Hey,
Yeah, never mind,
Firefox for
worthless.
Android got Chromecast support this week. At the same time, the A Bit Cool website started to refer to something called Matchstick, which is likely a Firefox OS-powered streaming stick that company has been working on.
Okay, so this is all just rampant rumor.
It's just two Firefox things. Well, the Chromecast support's not a rumor.
Yeah, okay, all right. Speaking of Chromecast, I know that you have one, I know I have one. Jeff, Anthony, do either of you guys have Chromecasts?
I do
Nope.
not.
Wow. I thought for sure you guys would have.
I
Jeff
thought for
has
sure
one.
I would too, but I don't.
Oh, you don't have one? I thought you had one.
No, I don't.
Oh.
I have a real TiVo, actual TiVo.
All right.
I'm
Hey, baseball
behind the
fans, the good news is that a revised online viewing agreement means local games may not be blacked out for online viewing and next season. But the bad news is you'd probably still need a cable TV plan in order to be able to watch them. So this is more the same, right?
It's a
You
baby
gotta buy
step.
them.
They're like, if you pay for MLB.TV right now, you get blacked out on your local games. You have to go to television to watch them. What they're saying is, if you can prove you're paying for these on a cable subscription, we'll let you stream them in the MLB TV app. That's what it sounds like.
I mean, okay. And I know this affects you a little bit more than me.
It's an ease of use thing, but it's also a complication because then you're going to have to authenticate. You have to pay for the MLB.TV subscription, and then you'll also have to authenticate your Comcast subscription, say.
Well, it just makes it makes it so that it's ridiculous for anybody who uses the MLB to watch their local team. So you got to, I mean, it's like, well, I'll use an extension. The only reason that anybody uses MLB is to watch a team that they're not in the local market for right now. And now it makes it more sense to use it for your local team because you can use it for your local team. You're not blacked
if
out.
you're like, I want to watch my local team and a bunch of other teams. Or,
Right.
for instance, when the Cardinals play the Dodgers, I can't watch it on MLB.TV anymore because I live in LA and I'm a Cardinals fan. I can watch all their other games. Or if they play the Angels, same way. This would allow me to go, okay, if I'm paying for DirecTV and they carry the game, then I can log in and watch it.
It's a good news, and it makes sense. And it's,
Yeah.
yeah, as you said, baby steps toward more sensible rules.
Steven Spielberg is apparently developing a Minority Report television series. It would supposedly follow the pre-crime unit as a procedural as they go out and prevent crime. Godzilla writer Max Borenstein has allegedly been hired to write the pilot. So this is Minority Report CSI.
I got an extension for this. I got things to say.
All right. Well, you go first then. You go first.
Not gonna work. Doesn't matter. It's dumb. The whole point of Minority Report is the trying to escape the inevitable ending of knowing that you are the person that committed the crime. The dramatic tension is gone. If they find some way to make it a cross between a police procedural and some sort of like a Black Mirror, like a cyberpunk future thriller kind of Twilight Zone, then that would be cool. But I have a feeling they're just going to make it police procedural sci-fi in the future, and that's not enough to hold my
I
interest.
actually am so very sold on this idea. I love it. It'll be like the first act of Minority Report. The very first thing, they introduce the idea where they get a red ball, right, which means it's a crime of passion. You get a little sketch, you get like visions of a house or whatever. You get the pieces, and then you get that satisfying crunch where it all comes together, and they get there just in time to start it. If that's a show, I'm okay with that show. Like the whole conceit is you get pieces and they try to put it together. I think it's great. I'm down.
Every episode ends with, I was going to do that? I was? Oh, okay. I guess I was.
It's Minority Report.
It turns out it
FVU.
really was me. It's like, yeah, man, we know.
Future
Every
Victims
week we
Unit.
know.
Victims Unit. Hey man, Nimble TV has reinvented itself again, and now lets people pay TV subscribers in New York or Chicago to watch some channels. Or let's pay TV subscribers in New York or Chicago watch some channels on a web-connected device for free. If you want all your channels and a cloud DVR, you pay from $5 to $30 a month. It's essentially a Slingbox DVR service in the cloud. This sounds familiar.
Well, we've talked about Nimble TV a bunch of times. They keep changing their description of what they do. If you remember, the first time we talked about them on Frame Rate years ago, they were selling you a dish subscription in New York with an address. so that you could watch anything that Dish does in New York anywhere in the world. And they got Dish cracked down on them, remember?
Yep.
Said, wait a minute, you're not an authorized reseller.
Extension, by the way.
You can't, we're definitely, you can't do that anymore. And so they started changing and shucking and jiving and avoiding
That's what
court
makes
cases.
them nimble. That's why they're nimble.
Yes, they are. Exactly.
It's a name and a promise.
So what they've done now is anybody can sign up for free, and they have things like Bloomberg, C-SPAN, like anybody who streams for
All
free
the hot
online
ticket
already.
networks.
Yeah,
The real
they've got-
popular stuff that you want to watch anywhere.
Exactly. But then if you pay,
Oh shit! You got that Bloomberg?
Oh, snap, son.
You can get
I
like
was gonna
real
miss out on
honest
my
to
8
goodness
p.m.
cable.
C-SPAN tonight because I'm out of town. Yo, are you all watching this? This is crazy.
But hold on, if you pay,
No
you can
C-SPAN
get like
spoilers.
Lifetime
No
Channel,
governmental
History
procedure
Channel,
spoilers.
like you can get normal cable channels. It's the stuff that is on Dish. They're not allowed to say it's Dish anymore, but you can't get the local channels because they were getting cracked down for rebroadcasting local channels unless you're in Chicago or New York. In which case, for some reason, in Chicago, New York, they'll let you log in with the service you already pay for, and
Sounds
like
easy.
basically
It
add mobile.
Sounds useful. I'm all for it. This is a wonderful service.
It's really complicated, but I think it works really well for some people.
I'm sorry. I'm drowning in the sincerity coming out from Anthony Carboni over here.
It's like a camel.
Shall we move on to what's on our radar?
Yeah, why not? Because Leprechaun Origins is opening this weekend, and really, that's all anybody's talking about.
That's all. Leprechaun fever has caught fire
Yes.
across America.
Really revolutionary because not only does Leprechaun Origins come to theaters this week, but it's already coming to DVD in a month.
Well, hopefully they'll answer the raging question of why people watch movies in the Leprechaun series. That's what I'm really excited about.
Because they're amazing films. I would like to say that they're couching this as a really novel distribution scheme, but this is what happens to every Leprechaun movie. It's out in the theaters, and then a month later it's on DVD. This is not new. They're just anticipating it this time. They're ready for the failure. I'm ready to see it. I'll go see it this weekend.
It sounds like you're taking a challenge. Yeah, I'll see it. I don't even care
I'll
what
see
happens
it.
to
You
me.
remember the one where he was in space? That was
yeah.
great.
Yeah, that was a movie.
He had a lightsaber. Oh, it was so good. And then the one where there was a hip hop artist that used the Leprechaun in the Hood, which they actually made 2 of. There was Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechaun in the Hood 2, both of the times where yes, it's true. No, this way. Yeah.
Oh,
Believe it.
Oh.
I love the Leprechaun movies. They're amazing.
Hey guys,
I'll
just so you
back
know,
them for life.
we're still alive, but we don't have Tom, so that means we don't have Brian's mic. So it is.
Inmates are running the asylum.
This is our show now.
It's our show.
Technical issues.
All right.
Welcome to the Leprechaun cast.
All right, we got some changes we've been wanting to make.
Yeah.
There's a few things that we need to tell you before Tom and Brian get back here. Take it away, Anthony.
Number 1, Nimble TV is going to be the big thing. Take all your money out of Roku, out of smart TVs. You need to put your life savings into Nimble TV. This is a buy recommendation. 100% buy. Jeff?
Secondly, the flask that Tom is selling on Sword and Laser, it's full of a white powdered substance. I don't know what it is. It may harm
It is
you. I
not.
would say.
Hey guys, we just got back. What's going on?
Nothing, dude. We were just talking about how much we missed you and just backing all of the decisions you've ever made creatively.
I thought for sure I was hearing slander. But I guess that was a mistake.
No.
Just a Skype hiccup.
Slander can't be proven.
Well, touche. Good.
It was libel because I saw it written in the chat room.
Yeah.
So the Congress is also coming out, which stars Robin Wright playing Robin Wright, where Robin Wright is so down on her luck that she sells all her digital rights, and it becomes like the digital version of her is a big success, and she's not.
I love this.
I imagine this is a little more painful and close to home than more than one Hollywood person would like to admit. Like I would imagine that selling, this is a real thing that's happening and has happened and will continue to happen to people. I'm very fascinated by this idea.
It's like what almost happened to Johnny Depp before he had Skeet Ulrich killed.
Good reference.
Thanks, man.
I heard this movie had a ridiculously low approval rating.
Oh, is it rotten?
It's called the Congress.
I see what you did.
That was the Congress joke.
Oh boy, that's your dad
That's
joke. for this
political.
episode. You're done.
Let's just keep politics out of it,
That's
Kanata.
political. All right, shall we?
You're obviously talking about the party that I believe in.
Let's jump into what's on screen.
So yeah, we're going to talk about most of this stuff, all of this stuff, really, in it's spoiler in time. Anthony and I will talk about the new Doctor Who. Brian and I and Jeff will talk about the Shield. And Brian and I will talk about the Leftovers. But what have you guys been watching lately? Because that pretty much covers what I've been watching. Anthony, you been watching anything else cool?
Man, it's really all about the Leftovers. I've been watching a lot of. I really love Last Week Tonight. If you're not watching John Oliver's show, it's amazing. It is just I feel like he's doing right now. You know, a few years ago when Jon Stewart really got like a whole apathetic demographic to care about the news within their own country, John Oliver is just doing the same thing brilliantly for world news, and he's just killing it. And it's nice to see it on HBO because it's nice to see him be able to go off the rails and not have to worry about as much in terms of, you know, standards and practices as even Jon Stewart has to on basic cable. So
Sure.
it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, I second that one, man. That is an unbelievably wonderful show, and I keep going, oh man, he's better than Daily Show, and then I go, well, he has like 7 times as long to write each episode as they do. It's kind of unfair. But yeah, you're right that they have the leeway of HBO. There was a brilliant one several weeks ago where he was showing like full-on close-up old man penis as like a fake political ad. I mean, hilarious, and it's amazing what they can do.
That's a hook.
What's that?
I said that's a hook.
Yeah. You guys gotta watch it just for the old man penis.
Come
for the news.
Wow, all right.
Stay for the old man penis.
Anything else we're watching before we move on to dispatches from the front?
Well, I did see
just
the
a lot
new
of old
Woody
man's
Allen.
penises, really.
I did see the new Woody Allen film Magic in the Moonlight, which Woody Allen's my favorite filmmaker. Say what you will about his personal life, etc. And I can totally understand anybody's hangups about supporting him, but I think as an artist he is unparalleled, and I love his films. And this one, while not as great as the last one he did, which the name I can't quite remember right now, but is still what
was Blue Jasmine the last one he did?
Oh yeah, Blue Jasmine, right? Fantastic movie. This is quite entertaining, and it really is it's a romantic comedy setup that is just an excuse for him to sort of muse about the difference between living pessimistically or optimistically, and it's wonderful. Colin Firth and Emma Stone are in it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It took my whole family to see it.
Excellent. All right, let's check out some dispatches from the front before we go.
Agreed.
In other words, email. That's what this segment is about.
This one from Gregor1942 in chat says, "Hey Brian and Tom, I've been catching up on the show and watching episode 32, Cord Apathetics, when I heard Brian say something that finally made me disagree with him, as I usually see things from both hosts' point of view. When Brian said we need to get rid of over-the-air signals, I was taken aback. My 86-year-old grandmother wants to cut the Comcast cord and have phone service. She needs it for life alerts, and much like R.L. Stein, she lives alone. She told me that she only wants to get the local, 35 miles away, stations. Oops. And to make a long story short, I'm searching for an outdoor antenna, as all the indoor ones cannot penetrate the walls of her living room, and she also refuses to get internet. Look, man.
Why do you hate his grandma?
I don't hate anyone's grandma. Imagine a world where it was exactly as easy as it is right now to get signals, only with an efficient use of bandwidth that opened up like vast amount of spectrum, so we all had more internet. I'm just saying it's poorly apportioned. It's a wasteful early 20th century solution that is no longer relevant. We need to stop broadcasting everything all at once. We need two-way communications. We live in the IP internet age.
Brian Brushwood says Greg's grandma doesn't deserve television.
Can I just look, man? I'm just gonna say it. I don't care about the technology needs of the old. There. I said it. I just like, dude, you need to be a good grandson, and you need to either subsidize your grandma's TV or come in there and hook it up for her, or do something, because we can't hold the world back for your grandmother, as wonderful a person as I think she is.
If
probably
Greg's grandma was the only problem, maybe I might agree. Like, come on,
I'm
Greg.
pretty sure Greg's grandmother is the only problem in the world right now, Tom, and we need to take care of Greg's grandmother.
We have a lot more to figure out before we can shut down the airwaves.
Do we, Tom?
Yeah.
Really? Or are you making it more complicated because of your sympathies towards the old?
Because of the old lobby.
Yeah, you're part of the old lobby. You're part of the problem.
Is paying for my...
Man, I feel like we're just losing our old demographic right now. I feel like...
they're not. They're all watching over-the-air television. What are you talking about, Brian?
The olds don't understand Patreon anyway. You're not getting anything from them if they're watching.
No, I agree with both you guys that, like, yes, the ideal would be everything is bandwidth wireless over the internet, and you tell grandma, like, here, you plug this box in and you can watch your stories and everything's fine. We just got to make the transition.
Yes,
you know,
agreed.
That's all.
Agreed.
Keith, regarding Quick Draw, said, hey, thanks, guys. Listen and watch to the podcast this morning. Can't thank you enough for the shout out. Tom was correct. The whole show is improvised. This is the Quick Draw show on Hulu we were talking about last week. Only the sheriff knows the story, and the other actors go into the scene not knowing where it's going. If you ever want to come see the show being shot, let me know. That's very nice of you, Keith.
Okay, this is...
I was like, it kind of seems like they give everybody a few points and they go with it, but he's like, oh no, it's even better. Nobody but the sheriff knows. That's insane.
It's amazing. Now I have to watch the entire series, knowing that is phenomenal. And of course, yes, we would love to go actually watch it shot live.
What's that, Anthony?
I said that. No, I just said this sounds awesome. I want to see this.
Oh yeah, watch it on Hulu.
Just a Quick Draw on Hulu. So far, we only sat and watched like the first act of the first episode, but I was completely sucked in, and if I had more time, I would have watched them all by now, but I haven't. Chris says, Brian and Tom just thought I'd mention something for the guy who was disappointed with the lack of content he wanted to watch on Netflix. Can I Stream It? CanIStream.it is a great website that has mobile web version and even mobile phone apps. It allows you to search pretty much any TV show or movie, and we'll tell you what services it's available on. Yeah, we've mentioned Can I Stream It
I use it all the time
before, but I guess it's been long enough that we should bring that up again. Thanks for the reminder on that.
Yeah, good stuff. And finally, Dave Roundtree wants to know, like, hey, where do you guys get the information for the movie draft? When does it come out? Will there be a spreadsheet template available to copy and paste into the league I would like to create? Need some nitty gritty on this, as I would like our family, who is spread out over much of the country, to join in on the fun.
Yeah, well, first of all, we mentioned before, boxofficedraft.com is being built right now. That's T2T2 doing that amazing work. The way we handle it is we have a commissioner who runs but does not play the game. Dan Dirks put together our slate. We will announce our slate for the winter draft coming up. I assume, I don't know, maybe what?
What'll happen is Dan will send an email saying, "Hey, let me know if this list looks good." We'll ignore him until the last minute,
and then we'll
frustratingly send him some like last minute changes at the end. Yeah. And then he'll like good-naturedly implement them, and then we'll let you know.
Right, and then we'll like forget to thank him live on the show. And but the point is like Dan Dirks is the one who makes it happen for us. But really, I would say anyone. We try to have around 30 movies in our summer slate, and every so often we miss. Like a big movie comes out that's much bigger than we expected, and we're like, wow, we didn't even think to put that on there. And when I say we mean Dan, and I mean we because we forgot to check Dan's work.
Right, or we mean Dan suggested it and we ignored it, and we told him not to put it in.
It's always our fault, and Dan just does everything great. But at any rate, yeah, man, more people playing this game, the happier we're going to be, and hopefully we'll have that released pretty soon.
BoxOfficeDraft.com. Meanwhile, if you only back one Patreon today, wow, that's a hard choice. But maybe back two, and one of them should be patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.
Mm-hmm.
Just back one.
One's good. Like, don't overload people with information.
That's fair.
Just go patreon.com/wehaveconcerns, and everything that he says from now on, like if that drops out of your head, that's fine. It's totally fine.
Unless you're old. Then he doesn't want your money.
Unless you're Greg's grandma, and in which case...
we don't want your money.
We don't
want your money.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us outside of the patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. Where else can people follow you?
After you, sir.
Oh, I'm on Twitter, twitter.com/acarboni and youtube.com/acarboni.
Yeah, and I'm at Jeff Canado. That's with 2 N's and 1 T. I do a video game show called DLC. That's 5by5.tv/DLC. I'm also on the /filmcast at /film.com. And even if you don't go to our Patreon page, you should at least check out the show. That's at wehaveconcerns.com. I think you'll like it.
You will like it. Go check it out. You have my guarantee, or you can tell me that you disagreed with me, but I'll still think you're wrong. So check it out, wehaveconcerns.com. You can find us. We'll be at Dragon Con next week. So we will have a different time. Look for that. And then after that, I will be gone. So we'll be on hiatus for a week after that. And then we'll be back to Mondays after that.
Maybe.
We'll have to schedule to be determined. Coming soon.
For a while longer, yeah.
But thanks for everybody for putting up with all of our schedule changes. You can always find us at cordkillers.com and catch the episodes there. And of course, you can email us cordkillers@gmail.com. We'll see you from Dragon Con next week.
Wow.